guys, welcome to VintageGenetics, and this channel is all about classic bodybuilding. And in the previous video I asked you to ask me some questions. It wasn't an answering video, and I'm very glad that I've seen a lot of questions in the comments. There certainly are enough questions to include in this Q&A, so I wrote them all down on my computer right here, as you can see right there, and I'm just gonna answer most of them. So I'm just gonna start randomly and we'll see where we strand. Alright, Jenkins Gilmore asks, what makes you like old school bodybuilding more than modern day bodybuilding? I believe I like old school bodybuilding more. Well, I like old school bodybuilding more as well. It's basically, well, they're both called bodybuilding, old school bodybuilding and modern bodybuilding. And as you can see, those two pictures right there, Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler, that's modern bodybuilding, and it's more about the mass, you know? It used to be about the art of bodybuilding, creating and sculpting a physique without focusing on being as big as possible, but just being in proportion, being able to perform the vacuum, looking good on the beach, stuff like that. Arnold used to say this and still does to this day. And guys like that, although I do respect them, although I do like to see and watch their workout videos, I just think old school bodybuilding is it's just something different, you know? It's an art form, and that's what I'm trying to bring back. You know, creating a bicep peak, vacuum, thick chest, V shape, V taper, narrow waist, and just all the good things about bodybuilding in one. Alright, next question. Andre Costilla asked a few questions actually. 1. Do you deadlift? No, I don't deadlift. My lower back is prone to injury, and I've already had injuries in my lower back because of heavy squats and heavy deadlifts. So with the squats I've perfected my form, while with the deadlifts it's just not worth it to me because my lower back is already good enough, developed enough, so I'm just not gonna risk it. Number 3, why are you so underrated? I don't feel like I'm underrated at all because of you guys. I mean, the comments I get, the likes I get, the subscriptions, the increase that I see is just amazing. So it's just a matter of time before, you know, it increases more and more. And I have full confidence that it will happen. I'll keep posting videos, and every time I post a video I see a bump in subscriptions, a bump in views, so I'm happy. Let's go to another one. Zongineer asks, would you ever want to do a powerlifting meet? I actually kind of did one before. It wasn't official, but it was a bench press. It was just a bench press. And you know, I did like it, but there were a lot of strong guys back then. I was, I believe, 19 years old, and I think I did about, let's see how many, about 300 pounds. Wasn't a lot on the bench press, but you know, for my weight back then, I guess it was pretty much. Clem Canthesis asks, thanks for this new video, Wesley. No problem. Do you have a specific warm-up stretching routine to prevent injuries? Well, I actually, when I had my lower back injury, I searched what it could be. And there were a lot of, you know, on the internet, a lot of articles about, because we sit a lot in the car right now on my desk, behind my desk. You sit a lot, and that stiffens your hip flexors, which are on the front of your legs. When they are stiff, your flexibility is limited, so when you squat or do a deadlift, your glutes and your entire hip area may be not aligned to your spine as they should. So that's when I started to do the stretching for the hip flexors, and you know, it really did hurt to stretch them. If it doesn't hurt, you're not stretching far enough. So, but it did work. But I only stretch when I feel that the muscle really is prone to injury. For example, the shoulders, it's not really a stretch, but it's an exercise, a rotator cuff. You know, you always do the presses, but you never do this movement or this movement. And those are very good exercises to perform before doing the bench press, for example, because a lot of people have shoulder issues when they train chest or when they do a military press. And I'm actually going to do a video on that, doing the rotator cuff exercises for the shoulders, which you must do very light and quite a lot of reps to really warm up that area, because you never train those, and those are little weak muscles of your shoulders compared to the big front delts, the side delts. They can really injure the shoulders if they are imbalanced. Jamie Lee asks, how many years have you been training? I started when I was 14 and I'm 22 now, so it's 8 years that I have been in the gym. But of course, since day one, I haven't really been as serious as I am now. Pretty much since 2013, when I did my first competition, I started to do the nutrition and the training better and better. And the first 6 or so years I did train hard, but I never really did research on how to train better, especially food and nutrition wise. So I have really seen a lot of progress in the last 2 to 3 years due to more knowledge and applying it to my training. All right. Fids Maji asks if I could get a second question. Oh, second one. What's the best way to bring up a far-lagging body part in your opinion? The easiest way to do this is start out with that body part. For example, shoulders. A lot of people like to start out with the military press, always front delts, while a lot of people actually do have developed front delts, but the side delts and especially the rear delts aren't developed at all. So my solution to that would be start off with the side or the rear delts, and really, because when you start out with an exercise, you have full power, full energy to use that muscle. If you would have already started with the military press, you already kinda are tired and you're not putting all your energy and all your effort into the next muscle group. So start out with your weaker muscle groups. Even though it may sound illogical or feel illogical, you will see the difference. How am I gonna pronounce this one? Hoang Mai Dui asks, do you offer any online coaching services? Well, right now I don't. I don't have the time to coach people. I could say that I do and put a nice price tag on it, but I don't have the time to really pay a lot of attention to everyone that I coach, and then it would not be worth it. If I am going to help someone, I want to do it full time and I want to be able to be ready for them. But what I do offer is I make specialized and personalized old school workout regimens and nutrition plans. So you tell me what your weak points are, what you're eating right now, how your training split looks like. So when I have all that information from you, then I can make something that fits you personally. And if you want, and if you're interested in that, you can contact me on Facebook, Wesley Vissers Junior Athlete, and that talks a lot easier. All right, next question. What Rick Leymans asks, what do you think is a good way to make your calves grow? Well, a lot of people have weak calves, and when I'm objective, my calves are pretty decent compared to the rest of my body. And that is because I've always trained them a specific way. You always use your calves. You're basically always doing calf raises when you walk down the street. You're always, lifting your own body weight with your calves. So they're already used to a lot of volume and to your own weight. So what I always like to do is 2 exercises. Start off with either the seated calf raise or the standing calf raise. And you do 1 exercise, a lot of volume and a lot of contraction of the muscle. Being able to go down and all the way up. Full range of motion, guys. That's the most important thing with calves. Full range of motion. You already are using quite a lot of range of motion when you walk, but you want to go past. You want to stretch it deeper and you want to go up higher than your calves are used to. With a lighter weight, a lot of volume. So now your calves are filled with blood, and now you want to stimulate them and stretch them out to grow. And you want to go to the standing calf raise or the donkey calf raise when your legs are straight, not seated, and basically do heavy weights. Also full range of motion, but this time focus on the stretch more and use a heavy weight to really stretch out those calves. I would say 4 sets on the seated calf raise, 15 to 20 reps, lightweight, and contract it very well, full range of motion, and then go to the standing calf raise, use a heavy weight, focus on the stretch, about 10 reps, but heavy weights. And probably make a video about this as well. Jackster asks, my question is if you're gonna make your own brand for supplements, clothing, etc., and if you would like to sponsor young athletes with your brand to build your own classic bodybuilding community. Keep going, I'm a huge fan from Germany since before you reach 1,000 subscribers. Well, a long-time subscriber, thank you for your kind feedback. And well, that's an interesting question because I've already kind of done research on clothing lines and how I would go about creating some own brands, you know, VintageGenetics. I've already done some tests, but honestly, I want to wait until my subscription base is a lot bigger than it is right now. I mean, right now my job is to just inform people about classic bodybuilding, about logic, you know, in bodybuilding, how to do the exercises correctly, in nutrition, stuff like that, in a calm, clear way. And a lot of people seem to like that, and I'm happy about that. But I'm leaving that option open, and it does sound like a good idea to sponsor young athletes in the future, but that's not written down, it's not official. So for now, it's just going to stay as it is. Rashid FFS asks, what's your take on unproportional body parts and how to fix it? Kind of like the other question about a lagging body part, what you do about it. You start off with the body part that's weak. You train it. For example, if you train 5 times a week, you might do 1 day of legs, 1 day of back, 1 day of chest, 1 day of shoulders, and you've got an extra day, and you use that day to work on your weak points. So if back is your weak point, you know, one workout could be the back width workout and one workout could be the back thickness workout, and both those workouts are on the channel, so you can watch them. But yeah, train them twice a week, and if it's a small body part, start off with it during the workout. Jack Mark asks, hey man, love the videos, keep it up. I certainly, definitely will. I want to ask, what got you into training? Well, what got me into training is when I was 14. My dad, when I was 14 I started doing fitness, started stepping into the gym for the first time, seriously. And that was the minimum age that I had to be allowed to lift weights in that particular gym. But what I did before that was gymnastics, and what I noticed that instead of doing the gymnastic exercises, I used to do pull-ups on the rings and on the bar and do push-ups and stuff like that. So I was already into doing some strength related activities, and when I was 14 I got into the gym. And who taught me everything? That was my dad. He was always a big guy. He was always someone I looked up to because he was big and I wanted to be like him. So from day one he taught me everything, how to do it correctly, and it really helped me because a lot of people kind of mess up the first 1 or 2 years in the gym because they don't know what they're doing. But I was lucky that from day one I kinda got the right advice, so I'm really happy about that. Alejandro Hernandez asks, do you think your training style should change when in a cut or a bulk? Yes, I do. Not necessarily, but I do think it has benefits to change it a little bit. I have my split of 2 weeks of that's my cutting workout split. I have it on my channel right here on VintageGenetics, and it's 2 weeks. And week 1 is basically what I do when I'm bulking, and week 2 is a superset week. And when you do supersets, you burn more energy. And when you burn more energy, you burn more fat and you lose weight faster. But because you're burning it in the gym, you're doing heavy exercises, you're still working the muscle, to me that's more beneficial than just adding more cardio to your workouts. So, and Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do this, and that's why I have really been trying it, and it's working really well for me. I can eat just about as much as when I am on my maintenance level, when I'm not gaining or losing any weight. Like the chest and back days, which are unbelievably tough if you do them correctly. I can eat a lot more than I used to be able to in the past. So supersets when you're cutting, and a regular workout split, you know, back biceps, chest triceps, legs on the bulking phase. All right, Hex8524 asks, are you currently being sponsored? That is an important question, because sponsorships should not be taken lightly. They are important for athletes, and it's important to be sponsored by the right companies and by the right people. So my first sponsor is Body and Fashion Den Haag, which is The Hague in the Netherlands. They're located there, and they're basically a team consisting of the top bodybuilding amateurs of the Netherlands. So for example, we've got the top master bodybuilder, the top junior, one of the top, which would be me, the top bikini, etc. in our team. And we do posing seminars, and we are at almost every bodybuilding competition in the Netherlands. We're also backstage a lot, helping young athletes. But mostly it's a retail store which sell supplements, but it's the bodybuilding vibe around it that attracted me to them, because they're known throughout the Netherlands in every bodybuilding competition. They're just great people to be around with. And my second sponsor is Scitech Nutrition, and I'm very happy about that sponsorship as well. And it's basically a combination with Body and Fashion. They're also selling Scitech Nutrition. And I'm a fan of those supplements, and also a fan of the company itself. I know they have every possible supplement out there, but the main reason that I like Scitech Nutrition is because we all know that one of the only classic bodybuilders at the top level of the IFBB is Cedric McMillan. We've also got Sean Roden, among others, who are still mostly classic bodybuilders, you know. Some even say that Cedric is the old reincarnation of Liheni, even though he's still alive. But you know, he looks like him a lot, and that's one of the best, if not the best, classic bodybuilder, as he won 8 Mr. Olympias in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, if a company sponsors athletes like that, I'm not ashamed to be sponsored by them as well. I'm in fact very happy and very appreciative that they have approached me to sponsor me, and I'm really looking forward to the future with them. But yeah, you can buy your Scitech supplements at bodyandfashionstore.nl if you live in the Netherlands. But Scitech supplements are good regardless. Alright. Jerwan F1 asks, for the Q&A, is your goal to become a professional bodybuilder, maybe an IFBB pro and compete in the Olympia like Arnold did? Keep up the great work. Well, my goal is to just become the best bodybuilder I can be. And the path that it leads to is, you know, I cannot control it, but I'm going to do my best at every show that I do, and I plan to do a lot of shows in the very near future. But the first thing that I want to do is bring classic bodybuilding back on the modern stage. So I want to be there on stage and people point to me and say, yes, that is what we want bodybuilding to be. That is what we want all the bodybuilding stages to be like. And that's, you know, the higher I get, you know, if I do win professional shows, that would get my name out there, that would get the image out there, and that's what I do want. And now with the classic physique division coming, and with the posing rounds on the Arnold Classic being judged as well, I do see a bright future for more classic bodybuilding related shows. So who knows what will happen, but yes, I do want to go as far as I can. Okay, Hakim Irambona asks, can you do a video or explain how to do a clean bulk for the people who don't have high metabolism but a decent high metabolism? Okay, so the average metabolism, I guess. Yes, that's all going to be included in my bulking video. I'm going to do a video about cutting, my thoughts on it and how to do it correctly, and a video about bulking. And everything will be included, including metabolism, how it works, what foods you should eat, what cardio does to you, the workouts, etc. So everything will be explained. Alright, Gijs Wolfens asks, he's from the Netherlands, are you going to do posing clinics? I would so join that. Yes, I actually do posing clinics with Body and Fashion. We always announce that on Facebook. It's always in the Netherlands, of course, but yeah, before every competition, beginner competition in the Netherlands, we know that posing is very important, so we do give posing clinics and teach everyone how to pose correctly. You know, we have groups of 20 to 30 people and we just explain the importance of posing and how to do them correctly. And we keep on practicing until every single person out there knows how to pose, so yes. And if you want to know exactly when that is, you should add me on Facebook, Wesley Visser's Junior Athlete. And I always share those messages, those announcements about the posing clinics. So if you're interested, you should definitely do that. Skylight asks, what do you do for cardio and how often? That's an easy one. I do cardio every single day. After working out, I'm cutting right now, I want to lose weight, and because I want to eat as much as possible, I add cardio after every workout, and my vision behind that is you're depleted, you just wasted all of your glycogen, your glucose, you don't have anything left, and what's left is the fat. So I do slow cardio, a lot of oxygen. Fat requires oxygen to burn, so breathe deeply. I don't think running is a great way. It's a great way to burn fat and burn energy, but if you want to keep as much muscle as possible, you want to take it slow. So 20 to 30 minutes of cardio after every workout, and I've actually added 15 minutes of cardio in the morning to stimulate my metabolism right when I wake up. But when bulking, I would do it about 2 to 3 times a week after every workout. Let's see. Boomer234 asks, what food do you bring to school and how do you feel about eating bread for lunch, since everyone in the Netherlands does that? The food that I bring to school is simple. It's usually white fish, a lot of vegetables. Nowadays it's broccoli, but normally it's any vegetable that I like. And I used to add beans like chickpeas, brown peas, black-eyed peas, anything. And rice or pasta or a quinoa, couscous, anything like that. I like to experiment, I like to cook, I like to make recipes and stuff like that. But I almost never take bread with me to school, especially not when I'm cutting. I just get bloated from it. I'm not sure if it's the gluten, but I'm a fan of gluten-free bread. It's a little more expensive, but at least at one meal a day for lunch, it won't be that expensive at all. And you can just add like smoked salmon on there, or some fish, or even some chicken, depending on what you like. And then you can get a good meal in. So I don't have a problem with it, but for me personally, I don't like it that much, even though everyone in the Netherlands eats it. Okay, Maurice Edward asks, I know you mentioned it before, but what are you learning in school and where did you get your knowledge in training? How old are you and how long have you been training? Well, I'm 22, already said I've been training for 8 years. But what I'm learning in school is nutrition and dietetics. So basically becoming a dietitian. And what I'm learning is the official guidelines about nutrition, you know, how much protein you should take minimally, fat, carbohydrates, micronutrients, and everything combined with you know, a regular person, for example, has a different food pattern they should eat compared to someone who has a certain illness, or compared to someone who is an athlete. We basically learn what every single person should eat, regardless of what their condition is. That's where I get my knowledge. We have a lot of literature that we have to read, and I can really literally now go on the internet and access the guidelines that are scientifically proven to tell you guys exactly how much protein you really need compared to all the bro sciences on the internet. So I do have good access to real, proven, scientific information. Yeah, and my knowledge and training, it's mostly just experience and doing a lot of research on the internet, trying things out. For example, when I watch footage of Ronnie Coleman, I used to try out his stuff. Footage of Antoine Vaillant, he had a lot of good ideas as well. Look him up, one of my favorite bodybuilders. And of course, the golden era bodybuilders, Pumping Iron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frankie Colombo, Lee Haney, you know, the documentaries about the 90-80 Mr. Olympia. I love that stuff, and I watch what they do, their philosophies behind it, the reasoning behind it, and I try it out in the gym and feel if it works for me. And experience is the best way to gain knowledge. You know, you can read it on the internet, you can say, wow, that sounds logical, but until you try it, you don't really have the knowledge, you just have the information. And so that's what I'm trying to transfer to you via these videos, and I hope that, I already know I've helped a lot of people with different exercises, and I really hope that a lot more people are going to do stuff like the dumbbell pullover, forgotten exercise, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I got my training knowledge. So guys, those were most of the questions. A lot of questions were the same, or someone asks 6 different questions and I just cannot answer all of them for the same person. But I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you learned a little bit from my answers. It's just my opinion that I'm telling you here. It's not the truth. The absolute truth is always somewhere in the middle. Your opinion is here, mine is here, and you gotta find your own, preference. Just try it out. Try out some of the things I'm saying here. But I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and a lot more videos coming soon. And don't forget, guys, to stay golden.